The anchors of Queer News Tonight, and this evening we discuss the queer headlines. Out Congresswoman Becca Balint criticized Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's testosterone screening policy. She called out perceived hypocrisy as the administration expands testosterone access while continuing restrictions on transgender military service.
A New York judge sentenced O'Shea Sibley's killer to 20 years for hate crime and manslaughter. The decision brings justice nearly 2 years after the black gay dancer's fatal stabbing in Brooklyn.
Trump-backed Republican candidate Marty O'Donnell drew criticism for calling LGBTQ+ people an existential threat, condemning pride and repeating anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric.
In a gut punch to South Florida's queer community, 2 legacy drag venues closed this week.
President Trump renewed attacks on transgender rights while promoting the Save America Act. LGBTQ+ advocates warn the proposal and related policies could increase voting barriers and discrimination against transgender Americans.
All this important LGBTQ+ news and a whole lot more this evening on Queer News Tonight. Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ+ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 12 million views.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the Rainbow family.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
That's right, and it is Monday, July 20th. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model as PBS and NPR, but created for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America. Hotspots Happening Out South Florida.
In 2026, our magazine is celebrating 41 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 14,000 LGBTQ television stories. We represent South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fest. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2026, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this very table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Yes, let's welcome my brother from another mother. He's Dale Stine, a celebrator photographer in the LGBTQ+ community. He's a director of music ministry at the famous Unity on the Bay and moderator of Miami Gay List on FB and Queer List Official on Instagram. Welcome back to the table, Dale. Where were you? You were traveling all over the country, weren't you?
All over the country. No, just in North Carolina.
For this girl that only goes to Jersey, right?
Or Columbia.
North Carolina. Or Columbia, the opposite way. North Carolina seems very far.
Yeah, my family. I saw my family. Hang out with my mom and my niece and all that stuff. You know.
And how was that?
It was great. It was nice.
Yes.
And I actually drove. It's a long drive.
Go to North Carolina, but don't drive. That's what Dale says, right?
Right.
Well, we love you, Dale. Thank you for being back at the table here with us at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Edward Otto Zielke, an accomplished brand influencer and marketing leader with a dynamic background in financial services and travel marketing. Edward currently serves as a director of marketing and sponsorship for the world-famous Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. He's the hardest working guy I know.
Don't tell anyone.
All right. He also serves on the Gala Chorus's Communications Committee in his spare time. That's like Sunday, 11 a.m. to 11:02. All right. Welcome back to the show, Edward. How you doing, baby? How was your weekend?
Oh, it was fantastic. I got a little bit of rest, so I'm thrilled. I got to spend some time with my man, and that's always fun to do. So just hanging home, relaxing. But no rest for the weary. We got a ball coming up in a few months, and then I got a sing-along coming up with the chorus coming up next month at Hunter's, and also a karaoke takeover in September. So those are going to be coming up. You'll definitely look at our website, gmcsf.org, for all of that information coming up.
And we'll be talking about it here on Queer News Tonight,
Absolutely.
I hope, right?
Yes.
Well, thank you so much, Edward, for being back at the table at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table my bestie, anchor, John Hayden. A journalist for 31 years, he now focuses on hyper-local reporting, covering LGBTQ plus issues, Wilton Manors, Lauderdale by the Sea, Fort Lauderdale, and Oakland Park. You can see all his reports at Greater Wilton Manors on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure that you're following both those pages right now. So, John, are you ever staying in your own lane?
I'm trying, but this weekend I was in everybody else's lane. The annual Pet Projects Bowl-a-thon went down Saturday, and I'm not going to spare any details. Hey everybody, John Hayden at Manor Lanes in Wilton Manors for the Pet Project's annual Bowl-a-thon. And I can tell you, the balls are rolling, the pins are falling, and the cash is piling up. Set them up, knock them down. Or at least try to. Manor Lanes was packed Saturday morning for the Pet Project's annual Bowl-a-thon. This year, an unmitigated success. There were more teams than there were lanes, and between entry fees, donations, a 50-50 raffle, and more, Pet Project raised more than $70,000. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of pets and a lot of pet owners that are going to be kept together and helped by this.
Absolutely. This is going to allow us to keep pets and people together forever, as our logo states, and we just keep pets in their homes with their families.
Not everyone is ready for the professional bowling tour. Both of you failed to pick up spares. Do you feel you have brought shame to your organization and family?
Yes, every day. Every day.
So it looks like the total is going to top $70,000. And that money is going to do so much good for so many people. I love it. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Pet Project. We all love you. At Manor Lanes in Wilton Manors, I'm John Hayden. Oh, let me tell you, that was so much fun. I'm a terrible bowler, so as you see, I just went and heckled people.
Got it.
And that was even more fun. Yeah. So, Manor Lanes is great. They've got great league nights. You can go, you can have a couple of drinks, you can have some greasy food that your arteries will reject, but that's not for another 20 or 30 years yet. So, and Pet Project, like I said, Faye, you and I both know them very well. Yeah. And we go to their events, and everyone is important, because you just look into those brown eyes of all those dogs and the green eyes of those cats, and they just stare into your soul, and you've done the right thing. So, yay.
Me and John love rescue pets, I mean, so does Dale as well, and that's the thing, right? That's what Sue does. She makes sure that pets stay with their owners, right? This is a tough time. The economy is what it is, right? There are people that have to pick between their own medical care and their dog's food, right? And Pet Project makes sure that that's not a decision that they have to make. They are helping so many people with medical care for their pets, etc., so they don't lose their pets, or they don't give their pets up because they can't financially take care of them. And that's just some of the things that Sue does over there with the Pet Project, and so they count on fundraisers like this. To stay afloat. I mean, things aren't getting any easier, John. Did Sue say how she was happy about this event?
Oh, she was thrilled.
The outcome?
She was thrilled. Like I said, between the 50-50 raffle and everything, entry fees, they raised about $70,000. There's a secret donor that gave a 50% match. Oh. So about 23,000 of this comes from one person who matched the general total of 46. Don't know who you are. but thank you so
Did
very
she
much.
have what was her goal? Did she surpass her goal?
She didn't tell me the specific goal, but in the past it's been like around 40,000 or so, I believe. So this was just great.
And mind you, this sounds like a lot of money, but they go through this money.
Oh, yeah.
Folks all know about nonprofits. They go through this money like nothing, you know? So this is just so important. Thank God to that person who matched, you know? And shout out to the people who are representing us in this community that went out there and did the bowling at 10 in the morning on a Saturday. You know, I saw folks from Hunters. I saw folks from the pub. I saw Eric and Kevin from Flockfest and Seminole Hard Rock. Like, I saw a lot of the Imperial Sun Court of all South Florida was there. You know, Jamie LaChoy, love you, girl. Like, representation was there. And they got up really early to do some bowling, you know? Now, did you bowl with the pink bowl? The pink bowling ball?
The pink bowling ball was in the shop. No pink balls for me.
Only blue balls. Only blue balls.
Only blue balls. Only blue balls for John this weekend, right?
Sorry, I
Make sure that you follow John Hayden, journalist, and also Greater Wilton Manors for everything that John is covering over the weekend. Again, if you work in Greater Fort Lauderdale, if you live in Wilton Manors, if you know people in the surrounding areas, you want to follow John Hayden to be abreast. I said abreast of everything that's going on in our community. We're children. We're children at this table. Wow. So thank you for sharing exciting details about the annual Pet Projects Bowl-a-thon, John Hayden with Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome back to the table anchor Bill Olson. Been gone for a little bit, and now we have him back, and we're super happy. He's a director, a designer, an actor, an arts champion. He is just a role model. He is that and a million things other. From New York stages to international tours, he's helped shape decades of local theater, including the Caldwell. He's a proud Center for Spiritual Living member. Bill, and speaking of, the arts at CSL is going to unveil their fall season, right? Tell us what's happening out.
No, that's right. The arts at CSL is bringing a new season to South Florida this fall. The season opens for 26-27 with Aretha Franklin tribute concert in October on the 9th and 10th, celebrating the Queen of Soul with an evening of unforgettable music and a very, very talented special artist. It continues with the Eric Coble acclaimed comedy drama, The Velocity of Autumn, which will be directed by Jenny Elliott, running November 5th through the 8th. Both productions are staged at the Center for Spiritual Living, Oakland Park, Florida. Theater lovers can enjoy live performances in an intimate setting while supporting local arts theater. Tickets and additional information are always available at cslfortlauderdale.org.
So, that's it.
No, it's just exciting. I don't know.
He's like, and org. No, okay. You know, these are, okay, so I was blessed enough to be part of your first production.
Yes, our premiere event.
Our premiere production, right? And that was back in January.
That's right. January, February.
At CSL. And it was such an incredible experience.
Well, it was incredible having you a part of that.
Thank you. Thank you. It'll be something I'll never forget, honestly, Bill. It really was life-changing, and I appreciate you for that. And so that started...
It did start. Rev Tina Miggs is our new senior minister. She opened up this event called the Arts of CSL, this program, which we threw that out as a premier activity, got some wings under us, and so now we've got a new season starting. The Arts of CSL is expanding now to include visual art, so we just signed contracts with some local gay artists to present their work in a gallery setting at the center. So we're going to, in October, when we premiere the beginning of the new season for the Aretha Franklin concert, we're going to pair that with a gallery opening fundraiser event, rather, a premiere event, to bring people into the center to show them what the gallery is going to look like. And that will change over every 3 months. So we'll be presenting.
You've got the space over there.
Yes, lots of space.
If you've never been to the Center for Spiritual Living, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Aside from the energy, when you walk through the door, that energy is just palpable. Like it hugs you. Okay?
It's a beautiful facility, and we're expanding what it's going to be able to present. And so we're really excited about that.
And can we talk about Aretha Franklin? Why Aretha Franklin? Again, God, she's been dead now a couple decades. And no, but her music.
Not decades.
Okay, well, a decade. How long?
Yeah,
long time.
Like 2018, something like that. She's
long
like a decade.
Right.
Like 1 decade.
1 decade.
But her funeral just finished up 20 minutes.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's still going on.
But she's someone that will always be missed. They use her music for so many commercials.
Absolutely.
For promotions, for stuff like that. Come on.
We have a very talented artist who works with us, Christine, who brought this suggestion to us. She's done the work of Aretha and Tina Turner and all these things in the past, so we zeroed in on this particular concert, and it's going to be very exciting. She has a team and a band that she brings. I'm really excited. John's working on all the promos for it now.
Your boo.
That's right. He's at home watching.
Hi, John.
Yeah, no, we're really getting all that together. And Velocity of Autumn actually already had a 4-week run on the Gulf Coast of Florida in May. So we are co-producing this with a theater company over there. We're bringing it here in November for those performances at the center. And it's already had its run. So the responses were amazing. It's a beautiful play about a gay man about my age who comes back to help his mother, 84-year-old mother, deal with that stage of life.
Oh, wow.
And she's been living in the Brooklyn apartment for 20+ years, and the children are trying to say, Mom, you need to take a look at what the future brings, what your next step would be. And it's handled with such grace and beauty. And his story is exciting too, because he's been estranged from the family, not accepted. His father didn't accept that he was gay. And so he had his own life challenges. Now he comes back home, and it brings the family unit together in such a beautiful way. We had so many heartfelt responses from the audiences exiting the theater in May when we were performing it over there, and I'm so excited to bring Barbara, who performed the mother, Alexandra. She's agreed to come to Fort Lauderdale, and she'll stay at our house. And
of course you will.
We'll feed her well, as you well know.
That's dedication right
That's
there.
Right. We'll feed her well, and she'll perform for us, and it's a beautiful play.
I love that.
Beautiful play.
I love that. Well, folks at home, if you've never been to the Center for Spiritual Living, look them up online, okay? Aside from having incredible services on Sunday morning, right, with Reverend Tina, who is just an exquisite human, they also have events there all the time, workshops, book clubs, all kinds of stuff, so look them up, all right?
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat? She is the legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspots Happening Out's The FayWhat Show. Welcome to the show.
Thank
lead
you
anchor
so
Faye.
much. Thank you so much, Anchor Dale. So this is my last show before I go away for 2 weeks on my Mediterranean vacation. Me and my Cuban are out. OUT. Don't text me unless you're at this table. And I, for one, can't wait. It's the perfect time for a nice summer vacation, folks. I know that you just came back from
right.
Bill, you know, and
we were in the
everybody
Baltic.
deserves it.
Yeah.
We worked too hard to not. John, I mean, your vacation was your brother's wedding, but who cares? It's still a vacation.
It was.
All right, we'll take it. Edward, you need to go on vacation. You want to come back?
Yeah, my cousin's funeral didn't count for that.
It really was.
No, I do need to take some time. Yes, definitely this summer.
Like a recharge,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So just follow me on social media. I'll be stopping at every port on my Virgin voyages. I hope it's not the old Atlantis cruise boat that I'll be on.
Ooh.
I hope they clean it first. Anyway, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up politics. Out Congresswoman Becca Balint slams Trump administration over homoerotic hypermasculinity. Speaking with Midas Touch, the out lesbian Congresswoman Becca Balint and Vermont Democrat targeted Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth following his announcement of mandatory annual testosterone deficiency screenings for military personnel aged 30 and older under what he called a high-T Department of War. Balint has some thoughts.
What do you make of his focus on testosterone and on demoting women officers?
Okay, so look, I've been thinking about this a lot. This is a man who says he doesn't support gender-affirming care. Encouraging men in the military to get more testosterone, hormone replacement therapy is gender-affirming care. But it, I think, is indicative of the fact that there are so many people in this administration that have some weird, like, intense homoerotic feelings towards men while also being incredibly homophobic, and not just homophobic, but like hate mongering, fear mongering about the LGBTQ community. So let me be clear. I don't think the homoeroticism is the weird part. The weird part is that they pretend that that's not what it's about. And so Pete Hegseth is like the example of this, like the manly, rugged, macho man. And it's like, I don't know if you know who Tom of Finland is. Tom of Finland, okay? This is gay male porn that was drawn by a man. and like Pete Hegseth is the embodiment of that. So I feel like they must be looking at that as like their example for what men look like.
So on the one hand, the Testosterone Initiative expands access to hormone treatment for eligible service members. At the same time, the Trump administration continues removing transgender troops from military service and restricting access to gender-affirming care. Balint also accused Hegseth of undermining merit-based military leadership, citing reports that women and black officers were removed from a Navy promotion list. Well, so let me get this clear. They're kicking out transgender troops for getting hormone therapy while testing everyone else for low testosterone.
A man.
Checking out all the other men for low testosterone, okay? So pick a lane, okay? That's not military readiness. That's insecurity with a government budget. Big macho energy is never a substitute for actual leadership. You know, I mean, come on, gender-affirming care is hair plugs. No offense, John. Gender-affirming care is Viagra. I mean, it really is, boys. I know that I'm sitting at a table with 4 of you, but I mean, it's the truth.
When I first heard about this, I was very supportive. I misunderstood it when they said he was going to have high tea at the Department of War.
High tea.
I was like, well,
I'm there.
hey, you know, the British ambassador will come.
You love the little sandwiches. I mean, it made sense.
Yeah.
There's also Fire Island IT, which is a dance party. Which is a
It's a little different.
Dance party, you know.
But also a lot of fun.
Well, that makes sense with those queens. I mean, because they're all so obsessed with genitalia.
Yes.
Right.
And specifically men's genitalia.
Well, I mean, so am I.
Well, yes, but
Yeah.
you're very open and out about it, and we all know it. These people are not. I mean, it's the hypocrisy. It's just mind-boggling. It is,
It is funny to see how you know she uses the homoerotic hypermasculinity. You know, it's like it's something that like you know they're kind of stepping into the waters and trying it out for themselves, maybe, or you know, it's kind of like making themselves, and then finding fault in it in other people that are also
Absolutely.
doing it and something like that. So
Yeah.
it is so like hypocritical.
Right.
This whole thing.
And I mean, I can't, my mind is blown by the outrageousness of prescribing a hormone injection to someone who may not need it.
Yeah.
Because there are all kinds of medical actions that happen. Men will, with too much testosterone, will lose their ability to procreate.
Yeah.
And that when they take that off, it can take 6 months to a year. And I don't know if these guys are aware that it's going to reduce their potency. Oddly enough, it's so.
you mean they're not scientists?
No, they're not. That's exactly right. Isn't it amazing?
I'm
Isn't
shocked.
it amazing?
Wow.
Even the folks in the medical areas are not medical doctors.
Yeah, right.
As we well know. It's just crazy that they are so narrow focused and
So
can't see
narrow-focused.
the bigger picture of what all these choices and prescriptions mean on the greater level for people's lives.
And the fact that they don't see the hypocrisy and they don't see the irony of it all is just because it's just so obvious. Like,
No, that's different.
Wow.
No, that's different.
But
No,
where
no,
is
no, that's
where are the
different.
rest of the people in our country who absolutely also would look at this and go, what will it finally take for people to finally open their eyes and say, the hypocrisy that's buried in this is just brimming over so much the surface, I can't not ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
And when will that moment happen? I keep waiting for
We're
that
waiting.
moment.
We're still
Yeah,
waiting. But
yeah.
I'm Bill Stine, and let's queer up justice. Nearly 3 years later, man sentenced to 20 years for killing gay dancer O'Shea Sibley. A New York judge has sentenced the killer of O'Shea Sibley to 20 years in prison, nearly 3 years after the beloved black gay dancer was fatally stabbed in Brooklyn. Judge Dina Douglas sentenced Dmitry Popov after a jury convicted him of first-degree manslaughter as a hate crime. Popov, now 20 years old, must also serve 5 years of post-release supervision. Surveillance video showed Popov fatally stabbing 28-year-old Sibley after confronting him and his friends as they danced to Beyoncé's Renaissance album at a Brooklyn gas station in July of 2023. Prosecutors said Popov used racist and anti-gay slurs before the attack. Brooklyn District Attorney Eric Gonzalez said, quote, "Everyone in Brooklyn must be allowed to live as they wish and love who they want, and my office will continue to aggressively prosecute those who harm others out of bias and hate. I hope today's sentence will bring some closure to O'Shea's many loved ones and to the entire LGBTQ+ community, which has been shaken by this tragic and deeply upsetting crime," end quote. Popov claimed self-defense and denied using slurs. The jury acquitted him of murder, but convicted him on other charges, including hate crime manslaughter. LGBTQ plus advocates said the sentence delivers accountability while honoring Sibley's legacy of joy, dance, and authenticity. Well, this is at least a modicum of accountability, because, it's not justice.
Yeah.
Justice would be, oh, Shay's still alive. That would be justice. And that's not happening. So I'm really puzzled. I mean, of course, I wasn't in the courtroom, but I'm surprised that it wasn't murder, because it seems
clear.
Clear and outright.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear.
20 years is a long time, but I would have expected more. I don't recall what they were asking or what the prosecution was seeking, but at least it is a form of accountability.
Well, I think 20 years for manslaughter. It could have been more.
Right.
Here's the thing. 20 years sounds like a long time. And for this kid, it probably is, because he's 20 years old now.
Right.
So this is everything he's lived again will now be spent in prison. Except that he'll probably get time off for good behavior.
Yeah, he'll be out in 12 years.
He will be less than 40 by the time he's done with all of this. So he's got, I hope to God he gets better or rehabilitated or something, because otherwise we're going to be sitting at this table in 20 years
again,
talking about this person again. And he's 20, like I said, he's 20 years old.
Yes.
This is a cultural thing. He learned hate somewhere.
That.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to unlearn
and
that.
It's usually your parents, you know, and unfortunately now he's going to go into an institution that is also full of hate.
Right. Yep.
So God knows he's a child.
Right.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, he was a child when he did the crime. That doesn't justify it by no means, right? But what he will learn, his college will be the institution. You know, I mean, and like you said, he'll be out in 10 years. I mean, that's the reality of it. And many people get away scot-free with no time, right?
Right.
You know, and that's the thing. Sometimes we have to be okay with the breadcrumbs that we're given, because we got to keep on living and have O'Shea's name forever ring, you know? I mean, it was right when Beyonce was like hitting. Do you remember when they killed him? And all he was doing was voguing and dancing to Beyonce, that we all do.
Right.
A lot. John twice on Sunday. Just saying. Hate never has a place. All right?
I'm Edward Otto Zielke, and let's queer up politics. Trump-backed GOP House candidate calls LGBTQ plus people an existential threat to Western civilization. Marty O'Donnell is facing scrutiny after describing LGBTQ plus people as an existential threat to Western civilization and linking them to Marxists and Islamists during an interview. He said, quote, "We are on the cliff looking down into the abyss, and the abyss is Marxism and its anti-Western philosophy. There is a weird alliance of all these groups. So the LGBTQ plus people, the Islamists, and Marxists, they're all together now," end quote. During the same interview, O'Donnell also criticized pride celebrations, calling it one of the 7 deadly sins. The remarks are consistent with other public statements in which O'Donnell had opposed marriage equality, criticized transgender identities and gender-affirming care, and supported anti-LGBTQ plus rhetoric on his podcast and social media. O'Donnell, the video game composer best known for the Halo and Destiny franchises, is challenging Democratic U.S. Representative Susie Lee in Nevada's closely watched 3rd Congressional District, a race which is expected to play a key role in determining the control of the U.S. House. Well,
unpack all that.
All the lies and all of that fun. So, I mean, come on. I mean, here's a gentleman here that obviously is into music. And, of all things, to not connect with the artistry of music, because it's the universal language. It what makes us all common. So, I don't really take stock in somebody that, his biggest credits are the Flintstone Vitamin Shoes jingle commercial and things like that, and video games, to be honest.
Halo's really, really popular, though, Edward. I'm going to give him some points for that. I slept with a girl that really was into Halo. I mean, it's a certain breed.
Tell me more about that.
I don't want to, because it sounds boring to me too, but very popular.
Yes, no, it's just that it's just very, it's sad to see somebody's warped views on this plane, on this level.
And can we just say, I mean, from the looks, my gaydar is going off big time.
Oh,
she's a big old queen. I mean, and that's always the case.
Right.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Hey,
girl. I mean, come on, get with it.
The ones that scream the loudest.
Right? Do we have a moment of silence for Lady G. Should we have a moment of silence or too soon?
No. No.
You know, the last story we talked about hate being learned.
Yeah.
Here's another example of hate being taught. Nevada 3 is it's outside Las Vegas and a little bit of the west up the California border. So there's a lot of deep red, but there's also some suburban in there. It is occupied by a Democrat right now. I haven't seen any real polling yet on the district for this cycle. So it is, but it was a close election 2 years ago. So this is definitely a race to watch.
I can only hope that the total amount of wackiness in this guy, with the assembling our community to Marxism and Islamism and all these stuff, that will be enough, hopefully, to push people over the edge to realize we don't want someone that's that untethered from reality.
Yeah, but you never know. Some people liked to vote for people who are that untethered from reality, Bill. I know it hurts, right? But
I mean, that's why we have the president we have.
I know. But I do think that people are realizing. I have talked to people on the west coast of Florida who realize, you know what, he's done way more than I expected. So I think the tide is shifting to some degree. I hope that these people who are hiding on his coattails by saying these wacky things are realizing, no, it's time to pull back. It's time to get some real leadership. It's time to get people that are going to represent us and do the things we need.
Or at least stay home and not vote.
Well, yeah, that's possible too.
Yep. Wow. Hey everyone, I'm John Hayden, and let's queer up gay culture. 2 legacy drag venues, AQUAPLEX in Fort Lauderdale and the Birdcage Cabaret in Key West, are closing this week. I first broke the story last night at Great Wilton Manors. According to their website, AQUAPLEX's last shows will be this Sunday. I'm told Friday is the last day for the Birdcage, but their website says there are no tickets available for any shows in July. The Fort Lauderdale staff was told during a meeting yesterday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. The warning signs have been flashing for months. In May, the Fort Lauderdale location got a utility shutoff notice, followed a day later with a pay up or get out notice from their landlord. AQUAPLEX in Key West got a notice from the county tax office in June and was evicted after the July 4th holiday. That eviction didn't go well. The landlord posted a picture saying AQUAPLEX was, this is the picture right there, AQUAPLEX was stripped bare. One person posted today that they even took the water heater out. Its parent company, Pride Holdings Group, saw its stock plummet to about 5 cents a share in April, and that's about where the price remains today. It closed around 3 cents. Also, Mike and John Barrett, who initially owned Key West and bought Lips in Oakland Park 2 years ago, are taking early retirement from Pride Holdings. Now, clearly, some were taken by surprise. Just last week, AQUAPLEX posted a flyer promoting its 2-year anniversary party coming up in August. I've also seen posts on social media about paychecks bouncing last week. That has been an issue for months, and adding insult to the injury, it appears Pride Holding Groups, or whoever was running the venues, has not paid payroll taxes. So when the people who got their checks bounced, went to go collect unemployment, the unemployment office said, we have no idea who you are, where you've been working. They have no record. So the queens, the bartenders, the servers, everybody is really, really hurt by this. There's going to be a lot more coming down the pike. I'm obviously following this story very, very closely, and it breaks my heart, and quite honestly, it pisses me off. Because like I said, the warning signs have been there for months, and the girls could have been out looking for other jobs.
Well, thank you so much, John, for reporting on this. And obviously, we've got questions, and you please, this one hurts, all right? Because this is kind of like our community center closing down, all right? Yeah. And I remember you and me sitting at this very table doing a story about Lips closing and our hearts being broken by that. And then a few days later, doing another story about these men that came in like heroes and bought Lips and is turning it into this incredible thing that's going to expand all over the country, and our queerness is going to grow.
Yep.
And here we are, less than 2 years later, and you're telling me that this week will be the last shows done on that stage at AQUAPLEX. What will happen to the girls? Were they given any kind of notice? Did they know? Did they have any kind of time to get themselves on their feet? Have they been paid till present day?
The last pay cycle seems to be hit and miss. some people seem to have gotten their money, others have not. As for the girls, the entertainers, even the behind the scenes, the non-front facing people, I mean, you know, I think it's one of those things that they've just hoped for the best, you know, keep working while the place is still open. I feel especially bad for the staff in Key West because it's a small island. What's left? There's 801 Saloon upstairs, and I think there's a place over just a couple blocks off Duval down on the other end. But that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I think Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Miami, we might be able to absorb them in a little better, you know.
Depends, man.
There's
It's a hard place right now for a
It
teen
is.
to find a
There's
job.
not as
But I'm just saying, but
many
there's,
venues as
but
there
there's,
used to be.
but there are more opportunities here than there will be in
more
Key
No,
than
then in Key
West.
West,
That's what I'm
for
saying.
Sure,
Yeah,
for sure, for
but,
sure.
but there are far fewer venues than there were even a
Right.
couple
Oh, yeah.
years
Well,
ago.
and a lot of these girls were there for 20 years. It's hard
Yeah.
to, like, you know, you
Yeah.
haven't even opened up any other bridges because you've been working there, committing your life and livelihood to this place,
Right.
you know? Some of these girls were there, Francesca, some of these girls were there since they opened up the place 20-something years ago.
Yep.
You know, how do you say to a new employee, where have you been the last 20 years?
Right.
Well, here,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Nicole T. Phillips.
It's Nicole, I mean, you know, Amanda Austin Velvet, who was head of that whole entire place, who was promoted to be director of the world, okay?
Yeah.
Was that a title that they just gave them to shut them up?
Was that with Pride? That was with Pride Hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pride holding. No, at least not to her, not to the rest of the people. Velvet was, you know, traveling. She was recruiting. She was setting up a plan to make each place individual, but still have, you know, a format. She was working hard.
She really was. She was planning the 2-year anniversary, like
Yeah.
you mentioned. I had already gotten a table for that day. And you know, they were also getting the girls from AQUA Fort Lauderdale to work in Key West.
Right.
Yeah.
They were giving them another place to be able to, you know, to execute new stuff and to try out new stuff. And
Yeah.
let's go back to Key West real quick. You showed us a picture of can we put that picture back on the screen, Steve? Of a completely empty, gutted, stripped spot. That place was beautiful. I have been in it many
was.
times in Key West to see a show. Did they vandalize it, and who did it?
The landlord has, whom I have not spoken to, this is through social media, posted the picture. You know, you can see like just nothing, you know, nothing in there, ripped out, gutted. Who did it? She is blaming the tenants. And I don't know what that means. Does she think that the staff did it? It's my belief that they believe that it was on orders from Pride Holdings Group management.
Okay.
That's what people are telling me. I cannot say that officially, but that is out there in the social media verse.
Yeah.
And I feel solid enough to say that it's out there at this point. And now the owner of the landlord of the Aquaplex here has to be on pins and needles because, you know, now he's got 5 more days that he's got to sit there and hope they don't come and rip everything out. Which I hope to God they don't.
There are so many moving parts to this, John.
There are.
We only have a limited amount of time, unfortunately. But I've got to ask you the question that probably everybody out there is wondering, and everybody on my social media feed, and the only thing that some people actually care about: how about Johnson's?
It's not funny because Johnson's is owned by Pride Holdings Group. It is a completely different genre than the drag entertainers. I'm told they are solid for now. I'm told that they are looking to install new management or possibly old management to come and run it and take it forward. Johnson's is a completely other story. But for now it seems safe. But you know, there's questions about its liquor license. Is there a loan against that? I've had some people send me pictures saying that there was a loan against the Aquaplex liquor license. So I haven't seen this loan, but it tracks.
I mean, and Johnson's I actually, believe it or not, I have never been there.
No way.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I live in Miami, but I mean, it's always busy, right? I mean, it's a successful business, right?
Right.
So
It appears to be busy. Yeah.
The financial shenanigans, say that 4 times, are suspect to say the least.
I don't want to get into financial crimes because I am not that type of reporter. I don't understand.
Yeah, my opinion. I'm just
right.
Not knowing any.
But I'll tell you that it's it's a solid business, but making revenue hasn't necessarily been an issue. A legacy bar in Australia that PHG bought closed right after
my
Pride.
next question, because they also had picked up something in Chicago, in Australia. What's up with those?
The Australia, I think it was Melbourne. It's closed ostensibly for repairs 5 months later. A bar in Bali, I'm told, was bought and closed. As far as Chicago Lips, it is the subject of a multi-state lawsuit at the moment.
They owe a lot of people money. It sounds very, I mean, I know you can't say it, but can I say it? It sounds very Ponzi scheme-ish.
Yeah.
I would not want to comment to that.
I know, I understand that, and you don't have to, but I can say it. It feels very Ponzi scheme-ish, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Barretts, retirement? Like, I had both of them in my bed for an interview less than 2 years ago, and they were not of retirement age.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping to take retirement here within the next couple of years. Retirement age is when you say, I have enough money, girl, bye.
Yeah, but if they have enough money and all these places are closing, that's very suspicious.
It's shady.
Look, at the end of the day, they get to go and do early retirement, and all the girls that we know and love have to go find another way to pay their rent, guys.
Oh my God.
This is what I'm upset about. I mean, we've all done fundraisers there. We've all done events there. I have hosted and almost fallen off that stage on many occasions.
That's where you had your eye almost knocked out.
That's when, yes. In one of the pageants, one of the earrings came and hit me in the eye.
Oh, I remember you were judging.
Yes. Thank God I didn't sue. Imagine what would have happened, right? I mean,
you'd have just as much money now as you would have.
Yes, I would have had one of the shares that are 3 cents or something like that. John, so much to the story. Thank you so much for being the extensive, incredible reporter that you are and covering it for Greater Wilton Manors. I have a feeling this is not the last that we'll hear of this, of course, and you'll keep us abreast of the situation.
Absolutely will.
All right. Well, that's it.
I'm Bill Olson, and let's queer up trans rights. Trump renews his attacks on transgender Americans and pushes the Save America Act. President Donald Trump renewed his attacks on the transgender community during a White House address, while also urging Congress to pass the Save America Act, a voting measure that LGBTQ plus advocacy groups say could disproportionately affect transgender people. Speaking from the East Room of the White House, Trump defended his administration's policies targeting transgender inclusion, saying, quote, "We had transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, crime ravaging our cities, and the whole world was laughing at us as a nation, but not anymore. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. America is respected like we have never been respected before," end quote. His remarks referenced his administration's efforts to bar transgender women from competing in women's sports. The issue has remained a central focus of his administration's anti-LGBTQ plus agenda, which also includes a Justice Department investigation into Illinois school districts over LGBTQ plus lessons and a proposal to roll back LGBTQ plus housing protections. LGBTQ plus advocates, including advocates for trans equality, the National LGBTQ Task Force Action Fund, and the Trevor Project, oppose this Save America Act, calling it a blatant, quote, "a blatant attempt to steal the fundamental right to vote," end quote. They argue transgender people whose identity documents do not match their gender identity could face additional barriers to voting. Oh my gosh, where do I start in any of this? It's just outrageous, and it's just a smokescreen in so many ways to be targeting this issue. But the most serious aspect is the attack on individual groups' ability to vote and how they are maneuvering to control this so people will walk up to a voting booth and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we can't let you vote right now." And then that's not a time for them to unpack the problem and figure out. The administration's focus is so misguided, to say the least. But it's all a deflection for all these other things that they are.
Epstein files, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. For trying to get us to focus elsewhere, like pay no attention to the man behind the curtain situation here. It's just outrageous, and aggravating beyond belief.
Frustrating, I mean, if politicians spent half as much time lowering grocery prices
Yes.
or gas prices or, mortgage rates or homeowners insurance, right? Healthcare, as they do talking about our transgender siblings.
Exactly.
We'd all be doing a whole lot better, And I just want to remind folks at home, trans people make up less than 1% of the United States population.
And the focus is so unleveled, imbalanced. And I'll also tell you, John and I having just come back from the Baltic, where we were in 9 different countries, what he's saying is absolutely false. The global perspective on us is the opposite.
Yep.
He lives in a fantasy world of his own creation and suggests, and he thinks that if he keeps saying a lie enough times, the American population will believe it. And maybe that's been our problem. It's been our problem for so long.
Believe it.
And some do, unfortunately. Listen, Trump is, like the young kids say, the Lulu.
Yeah.
All right, he is delusional.
Well, you'll see it on your trip coming up soon here, Faye.
Yes.
The people who I encountered were all about saying, what's going on over there, and they don't just prescribe to this idea that we were a broken country before 2 years ago, and now all of a sudden we're the hottest country in the world. No, it's actually just the opposite. Yeah. Their feeling is like your country is broken now.
They feel bad for us. Which is why when I go anywhere, I say yo soy de Colombia, yo soy de Medellín.
Yeah.
Ay, ese Estados Unidos está.
No, John and I wore our "I'm from Canada" shirts.
But, you only have to have watched the World Cup finale to know how the rest of the world feels about DJT.
Exactly.
I mean, boo, 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 boo.
And
he got so booed. And when he put the medal on that one player, and the player was like, "Peace, dude. Like, I'm not touching your hand. I might get something."
Yeah,
it's one thing for him to be so incapable of seeing that too, but the Kool-Aid that everyone else is drinking around him, to buy into this as a truth and a reality when it's so far the opposite.
They're just kissing the ring.
Yeah.
And then back to the transgender community. Mm-hmm. Everyone I know in the transgender community is just trying to live their lives authentically.
Period.
They're not period.
Right.
Stop.
Right.
And they become targets of this insane regime. It is so diabolical.
It is. It is.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News, let's queer up trans rights. J.K. Rowling criticized after posting image which exposes trans woman underskirt. J.K. Rowling is facing criticism after posting a photo of trans political commentator Frida Wallace on Twitter that appeared to expose under her skirt. The image was accompanied by a caption in which Rowling repeatedly misgendered Wallace while referencing a 2023 public debate. Critics accuse Rowling of using the image to humiliate a trans woman. One account asked, quote, "Would you ever post a photo like this of a cis woman?" End quote. Another wrote, quote, "You're a gross bully. What a sad woman you must be." End quote. Rowling defended the post, writing, quote, "Fred was at a public event that was filmed with all participants' knowledge. You may feel squeamish about this picture, but Fred is a paraphilic exhibitionist who was having the time of his life." End quote. At some point, you've got to ask yourself, why is a billionaire spending so much time trying to embarrass one trans woman on social media? Imagine having Harry Potter money and choosing to be a freaking troll. Girl, go touch Hogwarts grass or something. I mean, oh my God.
Right. And I love how these folks just jump in and just start putting words in the other person's mouth, saying, well, this is what they think and believe. It's like, get over yourself. How dare you?
How dare you speak for her?
Suggest that that's how she's feeling. Exactly. Yeah, outrageous. Outrageous.
Yeah, I agree. J.K. Rowling is a skank.
Thank you for reminding us why you're a skank, okay? You want to keep on pushing out those books? None of us are going to read them or go to the stupid movie. Just know.
LGBTQ+, 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the world view. Indonesia's LGBTQ+ community faces rising violence after president labels LGBTQ+ a national threat. Indonesia's LGBTQ+ community is facing increased violence and discrimination after President Prabowo Subianto classified the promotion of LGBTQ+ culture as a non-military threat in the country's national defense policy. The regulation places queer issues along with threats including terrorism, drug abuse, and human trafficking. Same-sex relations remain illegal under Sharia law in Indonesia's Aceh province, while several national laws continue to indirectly discriminate against LGBTQ+ people. Wow. Our community gets so thrown into a bowl of soup of other despicable groups. And we, generally speaking, have nothing to do with them.
No.
And it's mind-boggling to me. I'm mind-boggled on a daily, hourly basis.
Well, he calls it a national threat. We've got a congressional candidate calling LGBTQ an existential threat.
Right.
I didn't think we'd be this far backwards at this point when we got marriage equality. I knew the fight wasn't over, but I didn't think we'd be back at this. But this Indonesia and other countries feel empowered, emboldened to scapegoat our community once again, openly and publicly, because the U.S. literally does not care. Right. In fact, they will probably give you more money if you do vilify it. So this comes right back to the Trump administration and the fascists that support him.
LGBTQ 1 Minute News. Let's queer up the USA view. Our man shot by police after firing at Asheville gay bar. Everyone else unharmed. Police shot and killed an armed man outside Shakey's, a gay bar in Asheville, North Carolina, after authorities said he fired multiple shots in the parking lot early Wednesday. Officers responded around 2 a.m. to reports of gunshots and returned fire after finding the man shooting. No officers or patrons or staff were injured. Bar staff said they called 911 after the man, who had been ejected for concerning behavior, returned with a gun. Police Chief Jackie Stepp said, quote, "There is no evidence at this time that suggests the shooter had any type of bias or hate motive," end quote. In a statement, Shakey's thanked customers, employees, and first responders. The North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation is probing the facts of the shooting. Whew. Well, that's reminiscent of what we experienced 10 years ago with Pulse, and unfortunately we had lost 49 lives with that. But, this is a trend that we're seeing, there was a report in Myrtle Beach about a nightclub shooting a few months ago. On top of that, there's possibly, there was something happening in Phoenix as well, too. So we're starting to see more of a rise in this.
Well, there has been a rise for sure. FBI states it. And, I'm just happy everybody inside was okay, right?
Right.
Whether this was a hate motivated or not, LGBTQ people shouldn't have to wonder if a night out can turn into a crime scene. Safe spaces matter. This story tells us so. And, I'm just sad that it's still necessary to have safe spaces.
Yeah.
LGBTQ plus 1 minute news. Let's queer up sports. Professional women's hockey league stars Emily Clark and Jamie Bourbonnais are engaged. Clark, who plays for Hamilton, and Bourbonnais, who plays for the New York Sirens, shared the news on Instagram with matching engagement photos. Aww, got all the feels. The couple began dating in 2021, but kept the relationship private until 2024. Since then, they have become the it queer couple in women's hockey, competing together not only in the league, but also in the Olympics and the World Championships. Now, they inspire the LGBTQ plus fans through their openness, visibility, and shared success on and off the ice. Now, there's a joke I could make about, she slipped into her crease, but I will not make that joke. And instead, just say mazel tov, ladies.
Absolutely.
I was going to say vagina rivalry. Look, I love this. I love that we're celebrating this, right? Love is love, and representation matters, right? And when two people that love each other in our community decide to make that big leap, right?
So,
and,
so
and
nice.
When two becomes one, I'm all about it.
And so important, especially with all the things we've talked about at this table today. So important that this type of a thing is out there in the public and embraced. We get to enjoy the good news.
Yes, we need to elevate love where we can.
LGBTQ 1 minute news. Let's queer up the USA view. Peterborough Pride continues despite major sponsorship losses. The UK's Peterborough Pride went ahead Saturday despite a sharp drop in sponsorships. Organizers shared that funding has dwindled dramatically since 2021. The event featured a free parade followed by a paid festival with up to 5,000 attendees. Chairperson Teddy Smith said 2 major sponsors have been lost because of Donald Trump and his anti-LGBTQ plus policies, and also due to the conflicts in the Middle East. Smith urged continued support, saying, quote, "We still have a long way to go, especially with our trans sisters and brothers, because they are the ones at the moment being targeted the most," end quote. Well, Isn't that the truth? We've talked a lot today at this table that the targeting that's happening, it's so extreme and so intense. And when will there be some light here at the end of a tunnel? I mean, it just feels suffocating.
Yeah, well, they should be very happy, Peterborough. Did I say that right, Peterborough?
Yeah.
They should be super happy about their party. Yeah, big sponsorships pulling out. Edward, you know how that is.
Yeah.
Yet they still had 5,000 people. Like, they should be super happy.
That's
they
the great
gave
thing.
those 5,000 people pride.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, can you imagine, like, you know, just feeling like you're creating this event for, you know, and celebrating who you are, and all of a sudden, like, all the funds aren't there anymore, and you can't just do. But you know, we're very resilient,
resourceful
plus people. We will get out there and we'll make our own party. You know,
resourceful. We'll make our own floats. You know us, right? We'll carry a drag queen on our back if we have to. Let's go.
Right.
Exactly.
These are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight, and our anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ family.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family, and don't forget to join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
And we need your support. If our community is to grow and thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your lead anchor, FayWhat, and I thank you for joining us. On behalf of my fellow LGBTQ anchors here at Queer News Tonight, including Dale Stine, Edward Otto Zielke, John Hayden, and Bill Olson. We'll see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you a good night.
Good night, everyone.